Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Zoe, and today I would like to talk about, does being married make you better than somebody that is single? My whole views on it, absolutely not. In God's eyes, we're all equal. In God's eyes, we are all equal. And just because you have the ring, that doesn't make you better than anybody that doesn't have the ring. And I find that a lot of married women tend to have this mentality where they feel because they've got a ring that they can look down and throw shade on other women that don't have the ring. And to be honest with you, it happens a lot in church and I don't think it's right. And it's not a nice thing to say or to make somebody feel less than what they are or make them feel inadequate because they don't have the ring. I find that goes on in church a lot, and these things are, just thrown under the carpet. It's not being addressed. People don't understand how it can impact other women and cause them to not want to come to church. I've seen it a lot. I've noticed it myself when I was single, how much you get treated different from other married women. Women that are married tend to get treated better than women that are not married, and that shouldn't be happening in the house of God. But these are the kind of things that push people away, and it's not right at all. It's not fair. And just because a woman is single, you can't look down on that. Like, no one wants to be single, but people are single for different reasons. It could be because your partner or your husband was cheating on you and you're not prepared to put up with that kind of nonsense, and your husband could be beating you up and doing things that he shouldn't be doing. That doesn't make you less of a person because you're single. Sometimes you end up in situations where you've got no choice but to walk away from your husband or your partner because of certain circumstances, like I've just mentioned. And sometimes it's out of our control, but that doesn't give anybody no right to look down on anybody. And a lot of women seem to think that because they're married, that certain things can't go wrong in their marriage, and they think that, yeah, it does give them stability and security to a certain degree, but nothing is guaranteed that their marriage is going to last throughout the whole days of their life until the day they die. Like, things go wrong, things can change, especially when the devil gets in there. That's also something that these women need to take into account. And sometimes they don't read these things enough, and they don't understand that, just because you're married, you're going to have challenges, same way how a single woman would have challenges, but in a different way. We all have challenges regardless of what our statuses are, whether you're married, single, in a relationship. Like, you are going to face challenges in different areas. Like, people need to get rid of the fact of thinking that because they're married and they feel secure and everything's all right for now, that things can't go wrong. Things can take a horrible turn out of nowhere. But this is why, as children of God, we have to pray against these things happening. And, like, because you're in church, your marriage is going to be under attack even more because you belong to Christ. So, it's about spreading awareness and make people be aware. Like, no one's in no position to be looking down on anybody for whatever reason. That's like, whatever that person's done, or they've committed a particular sin, like, leave that between them and God. That's for God to deal with them, not for anybody to come and prejudge a situation or look down on them. That happens a lot, and it's not nice at all. It's not cool. I see it on social media, also on lives, where people have this snobbery and tend to, oh God, I can't even think of the word to use. The word's just gone right out of my head. This always happens. Excuse me, guys. Like, I find that black women tend to be targeted a lot for being single, and people always seem to come for them. And, it's not just black women that are single. Like, this is a problem in all ethnic backgrounds. It's not just black women that are single, and people are single for different reasons, as I said. But, there's nice things about being single, which people don't even really look into. Like, you've got your freedom. You don't have to come home to cook and worry about another person. Because when you are married, that's another responsibility that you have to look after that person. And some people that are single are glad that they don't have to do that. They don't have that responsibility because they don't need to. But when you're married, you can't just think about yourself. You also have another person to consider. And, you know, not everybody's prepared to do that. Not everybody's prepared to have to look after somebody. But in a marriage, you're meant to look after each other. And I see a lot of imbalances in marriages as well. There's imbalances in different statuses, as I said. But, you know, like there's good and bad in both. Like marriage, what I've realized about marriage over the years is it's not easy. It's give and take, and you have to make sacrifices. And if you're not prepared to do that, then you definitely shouldn't be married. And you know, in this day and age, it's hard to find a man that wants to marry you, because some men don't want to marry you, but they're quite happy to live with you and get what they want off you. Some men are just literally come into your life to just take. They have nothing to give, but they're quite happy to take. And that's not good either. But, you know, life is not easy for anybody. Put it this way. Nobody's life is perfect. And, you know, no matter how good something looks from the other side of the fence, that might not necessarily be what it is. Like the joys of being single, like it is nice being single for like what I've just mentioned. I mean, yes, it can be lonely and isolating at times, but you've got your freedom, and freedom is important to me. And like sometimes in a marriage, you might not be able to have the freedom that you had when you're single. So yeah, that's one point. And the other point I'd like to make is, you know, if a woman has had a child out of wedlock, especially, this is something that is frowned upon in church. But what people need to understand is, like, when you go to church, there's hardly any young men in the church, or men in general. Like, there seems to be more women than men, and this is another problem. I mean, I wouldn't encourage a sister to go and sin, but at the same time, what options do they have? If you want to have children and there's no man in the church, and you've gone and had a child out of wedlock with a man that's not saved, then in a way I can't really blame women for doing that, because sometimes you could end up sitting down and waiting forever for a man to come and marry you, and it doesn't happen. I've seen women sit and wait for so long to the point where they're still not married, and they've waited so long that they can't even have children. And that is just so sad to see, that, you know, women have given up so much, just like following God and not giving into temptation, and it hasn't really worked in their favor. That's just so sad to know. But, you know, like I said, those women shouldn't really be looked down upon for going and having their children out of wedlock, when really, you know, they want to do the right thing, but then they don't have much options. There's no men in the church. So for that reason, that's why they've had to go elsewhere. Like, I don't think a woman should be criticised for that personally. But life is just getting harder and harder and harder. There's more things, there's more temptation, there's more challenges in life in general. And whatever platform or channel you choose to go down, it's going to be hard. And, you know, people need to be less judgmental. There tends to be a lot of judgment on people's situations. Do not talk about people's situations. Do not be so quick to talk on people's situations when you don't know what they're going through, because you don't know what's waiting around the corner for you. You could be talking on someone's situation, and the next minute you're having problems in your own marriage. The next minute you find out that your husband's cheating on you. And then you just feel like an idiot because you put your mouth in a place where you shouldn't have. It had nothing to do with you, but you felt that you had to go and say something. That, I see that happening a lot, and it's not right, and it needs to stop. It really does. It needs to stop, because it's not cool at all. In God's eyes, we're all sinners. We all commit sin. We all do wrong. And this is why no one should judge nobody. Regardless, you may think you're up there because you've got it together, you've got the nicest house, you've got the nice car, you got this, you got that. But, you know, in a blink of an eye, it could all spiral out of control. So, yeah, that's why you have to be careful and just mute. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, share and subscribe, and keep a watch out for my next video. Take care.